Good evening, student. This is the third part of the chapter Sectors of the Indian Economy, Class 10, Subject Social Science. In this part, student, we will begin from page number 23. Our heading is Historical Change in the Sector. Student, in this section, we would try to observe some general trend, general pattern from the histories of presently developed countries. Uh, Let me take you back to the very first chapter. If you remember, there was three word prime. There was three word. We actually made the classification of various countries on the basis of level of development as developed countries, developing countries, and underdeveloped countries. So, student, what in this section we will try to understand that how over the period of time since the process of development began in these countries which are now considered to be developed has remained same. You will find that in the early period in all these countries which are presently developed, there was dominating role of the primary sector both in terms of production as well as in terms of employment. What happened next? There was a next step which is again a general trend across the countries, that it was observed that there was some scientific development in the field of agriculture production which could increase the productivity of food crops and cash crop. And then it was realized that the many people could not be required in the agricultural field as less number of people could produce for all the population of the world. Many people shifted to other areas, like some joined army, administrative work, trading was another area where people started working, and that is how you can say that people shifted to other area. However, production is still being dominated by the primary sector, although many people shifted, and employment still was larger in the primary sector. What happened that few centuries ago, due to the development of science and technology, this student you will study in the history book. There is a chapter Age of Industrialization in class 10 where you will understand the process of growth of science and technology for the development of our manufacturing sector or for our industry. So you will find that with the coming of the new devices, with the invention of new machineries, manufacturing process got completely changed. Now era of industrialization, production came into being. More and more people have started working as a worker instead of farm laborer, and there was also a rise of consumerism. That is how student, now the dominating role of primary sector was taken by the secondary sector. Now secondary sector was producing the and contributing largest in the GDP or the GNP of the country, and it was giving also the maximum employment opportunity. And student, almost a century ago there was a new trend that even secondary sector was replaced by the tertiary sector, that is service sector. Since the last 100 years, it has been observed that there has been a tremendous rise in the development of new services, and that's why in the modern time all the developed countries you find that the larger contribution in terms of production is from the service sector, as well as student it is employing the largest number of workforce also. Why? You can yourself witness that over the last 40-50 years, many areas now of the service sector has been included only because of introduction of information and communication technology. Take little example, your Android phone or your iOS phone, where the Apple is the operating system, iOS is the operating system. It is full of various apps available on Play Store, or just to download. If you're wanting to have cooking of the food, there is app. If you're wanting to play game, there is a particular app. If you're wanting to find a location of a particular place, and various other app. Even these days news and other things like movies we all can watch. So the services are continuously rising. Our single phone, that's why we call it smartphone, is providing so many variety of services, and there are still scope for the future. This probably is the reason that has changed the game in favor of the tertiary sector, and you can say that in the presently developed country larger number of employment and larger number of production do take place in the service sector. That is a general trend being observed in the developed countries, student. Now moving to page number 24. Our heading is primary, secondary and tertiary sector in India. A student, in this section we will try to understand the changing dimension of primary, secondary and tertiary sector in the GDP production and their contribution in the employment in India. We will try to find out that how over the 40 years of the time, how over these 40 years the dimension of primary, secondary and tertiary has changed and dominant role has shifted from primary to tertiary sector. For this student, you have been provided three graphs showing you bar diagram with the kind of division of primary, secondary and tertiary. So I would suggest that everybody please open the page where we have this graph so that we can find out the conclusion. Your textbook has a colored bar diagram showing you what it is there. Student, there are bar diagrams showing you x-axis and y-axis. On the x-axis we have 1973-74 one bar diagram and another is of 2013-14. You will see that on the y-axis we have the GDP production in terms of lakh crore rupees. So based on this, if you will find that in the 1973-74 our GDP production was approximately 6.5 lakh crore. It is, I am assuming, actually it is somewhere between the, this data is somewhere between the let me show you. Sorry, it is not possible for me. I don't have only I have the textbook. So it is showing you that it is between 5 lakh and 1000 means 5 lakh and 10 lakh crore. So I am assuming, considering that this size of the bar diagram is making an indication that it is approximately 6.5 lakh crore. 6.5 lakh crore, and in 2013-14 it has gone somewhere around more than 55 lakh crore. So assume it as equal to 57 lakh crore. You can say that over the period of 40 years, GDP productivity has increased by 8 to 9 times. Now each bar diagram is divided into the three color. One color, that is blue color, is showing you primary sector in both the bar diagram. Maroon color is showing you secondary sector and green color is showing you tertiary sector. Now even looking at these bar diagram, you can say that over the period of last 40 years, each area has made remarkable growth. Every sector has got increase, be it primary or secondary or tertiary. But if you have to find out that out of these three sectors, which one has made the best growth, so you can say easily that the green area in the 2013-14 bar diagram is something which expanded to the maximum extent, and that is where we can say the tertiary sector has got importance over these 40 years, changing the larger contribution of the primary sector. You can say that in 73-74 primary sector had the largest contribution, but now this contribution has been changed in the GDP from primary to tertiary sector. Student, few questions are also asked, which is not difficult one for you. Which was the largest producing sector in 73-74? We can say it was primary sector. Which is the largest producing sector in 2013-14? We can say tertiary sector. Can you say which sector has grown the most over 40 years? Of course, tertiary sector in terms of GDP productivity. And what was the GDP of India in 2013-14? I am assuming it is little above than 55 lakh crore. So it may be 57 or 58 lakh crore. Exact data is not shown over here, student. Based on this assumption, we are moving ahead. We are trying to find out that now rising importance of the tertiary sector in the production. That is your next heading, which is connected to graph 1, student. And in this heading, we would try to understand that why over the 40-year period tertiary sector has got more importance. So there are 4 reasons given in your book. Number 1 reason is that there are some essential services which are being done over the last 40 years in a larger scale, like defense forces, like our panchayat, like our administrative services, like our police services, courts, insurance, banking. The size of these services has extended to a very large extent. That is why the contribution in the tertiary sector has increased, and these are essential services. We cannot have choice about these sector. Moving to another reason it is mentioned that because over the period development in the primary and secondary sector has taken place, and whenever primary and secondary sector develop, the helping sector, which is tertiary sector, service sector, also develop. Like over the year, the larger production has made the requirement of godowns. Over the year, larger production in primary and secondary has made our dependence on the transportation services. Over these years, we have understood that there are more marketing and other services for selling these goods are required. Trade is another area which has increased because of the larger area of production. So student, you can say these are the two reasons. Third reason is that we will find that last 2 decades the earning of the people, per capita income in this country has increased, and whenever people's earning increase, they demand for more services like eating out. It is written in your book, it means people, if they have more money, they prefer to go to the restaurant to have their lunch or dinner many times on the weekends, or if any other opportunity like giving party to friend and family member. There is another thing, people love to go to the various places. So tourism is another industry which is growing because of rising capacity of the pocket. Then you can say that people are also making shopping for more clothes. People are also doing e-shopping these days. There are certain other areas which is mentioned in this part on page number 25. Please move to page number 25. They have made you clear that because people earn more, they demand for services like if falling sick, they prefer to go to the private hospital. Similarly, student, they would love to send their children to private schools. So these services have increased. And fourth reason your book has written that information and communication technology after 1985 onwards has made remarkable growth, and it is still growing with a very fast speed. Every single day we find new application is on our Android phone. Every single day we find that some new facilities are available to all of us. These days your mummy, papa or other member of your family are making various online transaction, whether paying school fees or making other expenditure like electricity bill or telephone bill or internet bill, etc. They are paying online. It means these services are rising. Now, if these services are rising, does it means this particular sector don't have any problem? Do you think that? Let me answer you that in spite of that tertiary sector has improved, there are certain people in this sector which has not improved all these years. This is our unskilled people in the service sector. You can say barber, you can say plumber, you can say electrician, you can say street vendor. These are the people who are not in possession of good earning opportunity because their work is not providing any guarantee to them. Their work is not providing the kind of guarantee that every single day they get enough work to have sufficient source of livelihood for them and their family. This was our area of concern. Now please take the page number 25, student, and in this page number 25 you will be going to the section that is again, student, giving us opportunity. Please let me find out on page number 25. Your next area is where are most of the people employed? Where are most of the people employed? For that, student, you have been provided another bar graph, that is graph number 2, and when we will be going with the graph number 2, we will keep in the mind what was there in the graph number 1. Actually it is the same graph, but only thing that on y-axis you are shown percentage share of the primary, secondary and tertiary in the GDP sector, student. An interesting fact what you will find that this is really interesting, that in the primary, secondary and tertiary, I would like you to pay attention. It is shown, as I said, on y-axis there is a percentage. So you know that 100% This is the reason that bar diagram in this graph 2 is of equal size, because it is shown in the percentage, and maximum percentage will be going to 100%. No matter what the GDP was produced, in each of these category we will try to find out what was the percentage share of the GDP. What was the percentage share of the primary, secondary and tertiary in the GDP production. So student, if you will find, you will be surprised to see that primary sector production in the graph of 1973-74, bar diagram of 73-74 was around 40%. Then moving 40 onwards, it is going till 52%. I'm assuming it. You can say it was 12%, and remaining 48% was the tertiary sector production. Now come to another bar diagram, 2013-14. You can find that bar diagram is showing only 13% contribution over here, while in secondary sector it was around 13 onwards to 32, it means 19%, and remaining 32 onward, it means 68% are being produced in the tertiary sector. That is itself going to give us changing importance of sector. Both the graph 1 and graph 2 shows that over these period of 40 years, the changing dimension is that primary sector dominance has been replaced by tertiary sector. But similar shift has not taken place. Now go to simultaneously to graph 3. You will be surprised to see over here, student, that there is another graph on the same page showing you share of the employment, share of the sectors in the employment. Again, this graph on y-axis, it is 100% maximum, and 2 bar diagram, here is little change, 72, 73 and 2011 and 12. We are assuming that it is closer to that, so we are assuming it is equal. In the 1972-73, our 74% people were associated in the primary sector. Only 11% were there in the secondary sector, and 15% were in the tertiary sector. Now, in the 2011-12, 49% people, almost half of our population, still do the agricultural work. Remaining 24% in the secondary, and last 27% in the tertiary sector. Now, please find out the meaning out of the graph 2 and 3. Connect it with each other. You will be surprised to see, student. Student, now let us take the graph 2 and 3 together. In the graph 1, we are being shown the percentage share. So you can see that in 1973-74, and now compare the data with the graph 3. 40% production in the GDP was done in primary sector by 74% of our people. Secondary sector, where 12% of the GDP production was there, done by the 11% of the people who were employed there in the secondary, and 48% was produced in the GDP by the 15%. So this data is itself giving us an idea that larger number of people were contributing less in the primary, but smaller number of people were contributing larger in the tertiary sector and secondary sector also. So that is why the people in the secondary and tertiary were economically more sound compared to the primary sector. This was the reason that why poverty has remained in our village, why poverty has remained in the work related to the primary sector. Now student, come and make the comparison of 2013-14 graph 2 data with the 2011-12 bar diagram given in graph 3. It is showing that now 13% of the GDP production is done by 49%. It means things have become worse. You can say that now even lesser production is taking place by the large half of the population of the India. You can say that 19% of the GDP productivity is done by our 24% of the population, working population, it means not the complete population, not the total population, and our 68% is produced by only our 27% of the employment, 27% of the manforce, our working population, and that gives him a good idea that why less number of people are producing a lot in the tertiary sector. That's why tertiary sector is comparatively in a better shape. Now student, why this is taking place? Based on this, your book is wanting you to draw the conclusion, and because Main reason is that in the secondary and tertiary sector enough job has not been created. That's why people, when they were more in the reason, in though they were not producing anything extra, but they were compelled to remain in the primary sector because there was less job opportunity in secondary and tertiary. Why, what is the reason that in secondary and tertiary sector job opportunity has not been created as compared to the GDP production, GDP share, as contribution to the as comparison to the contribution of these two sector in the GDP production? Now student, there are two reasons. It is true that in the secondary sector and tertiary sector the production has increased. It is true that production has increased, but in spite of this student, this production has increased in secondary and tertiary because of high quality machines which has made production, but it has not generated job opportunity. Take few examples in your surrounding. You used to move outside and you find that these days JCB machines are involved in the construction site. It means one JCB machine replaces more than 300 to 400 labor force. That's why JCB machine is able to produce the work, but it is not creating job opportunity for the extra people of the primary sector. Similar status is there in the secondary, in the tertiary sector student. Compare the work of a clerk, what clerk was supposed to do 40-50 years ago, and compare the work what clerk is supposed to do in the modern time. You can say that there was a time when clerk was supposed to write down information from one register to the other register, and that was really a task in which more and more people were supposed to maintain, more and more people were required to maintain the data. Now this work has been reduced because we have computer in which same data can be copy paste again and again, and various things can be done quite easily. So our work speed has, our productivity has improved. Make the point clear. But job is not created in secondary and tertiary for the people, extra people of the primary sector to migrate to this reason. Moving to next point, that is, your book is providing you data that over the period service production has increased 14 times, but job opportunity has increased only 5 times. Reason I already told you. Similarly, it is mentioned that industrial production has also increased 9 times, but not as much employment opportunity has increased. So graph 2 and 3 gives you a very good idea that though productivity in the tertiary sector has increased, productivity in the secondary sector has increased, but not the job opportunity or the employment opportunity in these two sectors. Because of this, what happened? I already discussed. Your data is showing 50% of our population, means half of our working population is producing only 13% in the primary sector. Make one point very clear, that it doesn't mean that agricultural production has fallen down. Sometimes students find these data confusing to them. Look, it is in terms of percentage, and this percentage depends on the size of the GDP. Our GDP over the period has increased 9 times. So if you are a student of mathematics, very easily you can calculate the percentage of the 1973-74 from the graph 1. You will find that whatever the value is showing you primary sector divided by the total GDP, like it is mentioned in that 6.5 lakh crore. 6.5 lakh crore is mentioned in 200. It means, suppose the primary sector, you mention what is, go through the data and mention what is in the primary sector divided by the total productivity of the GDP in the year 1973-74 multiplied by 100. By this means you can be making your point clear that production in all sector has improved, primary, secondary and tertiary, but its percentage share has not changed accordingly. And this has created a problem that we find that our 50% population produce less than 1/8 portion of our GDP from the primary sector, our 50% population. On the other side, our remaining 50% population produce 80%, above than 80% from the secondary and tertiary sector. And this is clearly related to something what we studied in the class ninth. Let me remind you, there was a chapter, people as resource. In that chapter we discuss a concept of disguised unemployment, if you remember, or hidden unemployment, that in which we came to know that when more people, which is this disguised unemployment is mostly found in the rural area, and in this rural area, student, we find that more people are working on the agricultural field than required, and those extra people from outside look like they are employed, but they are not making production or productivity to their full potential. Because of this, what has taken place, student, that uh, extra number of people are not going out of the village just because they do not have opportunity, as jobs are not created in secondary and tertiary sector. I already told you. For better explanation, your book has taken an example on the page number 25. That is this example. There is a woman Lakshmi. She is in possession of 2 hectare. On page number 26, student, this, there is an example of Lakshmi, page number 26. Read it yourself, but I am briefing you that Lakshmi is in possession of 2 hectare of unirrigated land. She has 5 members in the family. On this field, only 3 members are good enough to do the agricultural work, but because there is no opportunity, all 5 are involved. Reason, they don't have opportunity to go there, and because of this, these 5 people are underemployed. Underemployed means they are not employed to their full potential. They are not doing the kind of work what they can do to their maximum capacity, and this situation is worse than the open unemployment. There is another word, student, open unemployment. Open unemployment simply means when any person is having no work opportunity, and is looking for a job, then you can say that this person is openly unemployed, and this is better condition compared to someone who is working but not doing any productive, any added productivity or any extra productivity. This in unemployment is hidden because from outside it looked like everybody is unemployed, everybody is employed, sorry. And your book has given an example that suppose in the village there comes a person Sukhram, who is a rich landlord, and offer job opportunity to 2 people from the field of Lakshmi. Now if Lakshmi will allow these 2 people to go and make some extra earning, family situation will turn better, because they will bring some extra money, they will be making the good utilization of their potential. And student, taking out these 2 people will not affect any productivity of the field of Lakshmi, where she is producing jowar and arhar on the field. This unirrigated, this is the land which is unirrigated, and his labor efforts will remain to the maximum potential, it will not remain divided. This is how we can understand that our entire concepts of primary sector not producing good in the GDP, not making good contribution in the GDP. However, the employment opportunity is still highest in the primary sector. Student, on the next page, page number 27, let's work these out. There is a table given to you where share of the primary sector in GDP and employment is being asked to you. Complete the table using the data given in graph 2 and 3 and answer the question that follows. Ignore if data are not available for some years. You are being asked, but your book, this is the latest edition, you have all the data available. If for a particular year data is not available, you can ignore. You are given data, remember graph 1 and 2 is showing the data for 1973-74 and 2013 and 14, where you can show the share in GDP from the from this graph 2, and a share in employment. For that you have data of 1972-73 and 2011 and 12. So use the appropriate graph to fill these table, and wherever you are not finding, you leave it. Do the remaining question yourself. I have already given the answer. What questions are asked here, I have already explained. But keep in mind I'm providing the final word to this. Three graph has given us clear picture. First graph has given us picture that the uh, contribution in the GDP by primary, secondary and tertiary over the year has changed. Earlier primary sector was dominating, now tertiary sector is dominating because it has contributed largest GDP share in 2013-14. Now graph 2 is showing that percentage share has increased in the tertiary sector, but percentage share of primary has reduced drastically. Although overall in terms of GDP, in terms of rupees, both all the primary, secondary and tertiary are improving, but student, contribution in this sector has not done. Contribution in the terms of percentage is not remarkable for primary sector. Now third is the graph, that is graph number 3, which is showing you share of employment, in which again there is a pathetic condition that the ratio as service sector has improved or secondary sector has improved, and their contribution has made a remarkable growth in the GDP production, but it has not taken place in the employment share. Still employment share is higher in the primary sector. Thank you, student. We will move with the next topic in the next section. Thank you.